This is Rebekah Roth again. One of the crazy 9/11 conspiracy theories I came across online from truthers was that the flight attendants had been kidnapped and their voices morphed by a voice morphing machine. So I wanted to explain to you how a flight attendant goes to work because that's such a crazy theory. Each month we bid for the following month's flight hours, roughly 80 to 85 hours of flight time. Around the 24th or the 25th of the month, we know what we're going to do the following month. So when we're talking about 9/11, by August 24th, 25th, the flight attendants would have known they were going to work Flight 11, Flight 77, what have you. On 9/11, Flight 11 had 9 flight attendants on it. 7 of those had been were replacements from the original crew. There's no explanation for that, but I might find one someday. What happens when you have a flight, let's just say it was an 8 o'clock departure. I think it actually was 7:59, but for ease, let's say 8 o'clock. 2 hours before your departure, this would be 6 a.m., we call the company and we're in constant contact with the company 2 hours or more from scheduled departure. They would have called by 6 a.m., said, this is who I am, this is my employee number, this is the flight I'm taking, I'm on my way, I'm at the airport. And then 1 hour before scheduled departure, we're actually standing in an official office space, and that is 99.9% of the time on the secure side of security in the airport terminal. So you can see already it's getting pretty hard to find a kidnapper over there because they wouldn't be able to have a gun or a weapon because they'd have to gone through security. But wait, there's more. It is an obscure door that you probably wouldn't even know. It doesn't say flight attendant's office or anything like that. Usually there's just nothing there. And you use your ID, your badge to get in. Maybe there's a keypad, but you don't know what it is behind that door. So it'd be impossible for kidnappers. Again, we're in touch with physical managers, supervisors, those kind of people. And during that 1 hour time, we meet our crew, introduce ourselves, we bid for work positions. Some airlines have already done that, so you know exactly where you're going to work once you get on the flight. And then sometimes the pilots will come in, they'll tell you the flight time and if there's going to be bad weather or there's turbulence projected or thunderstorms on arrival and that sort of thing. So you have maybe one of your pilots, maybe both of the pilots actually, all your crew and your bosses, your supervisors, managers are all in this secure office space. And then you get your pre-flight manifest, your pre-departure manifest, which is a list of all the passengers, any special needs they have, etc. And then every company has, depending upon the size of the airplane, if it's domestic or international, a set time. I'll give you an example. On Flight 11, being a double airplane, 767 double aisle aircraft, probably their boarding time was 45 or 50 minutes before scheduled departure. All the flight attendants had to be on the plane. So every flight attendant knows what time they have to be at their workplace inside the airplane. You don't just walk into the airport and say, I think I'll go to the Bahamas today. Now you are in constant contact with the company leading up to your departure time. So it's really a very tight connection you have, because if you don't show up, they replace you. So if you don't make your 2 hour call before departure, within 10 or 15 minutes, you're replaced by a reserve person. So you can see now how impossible it is for a flight attendant or a group of flight attendants, in this case, all the flight attendants that made phone calls, which was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, 5 of them. So you can see that whole voice morphing and kidnapping is so insane. But if you don't know how we go to work, you don't know how we bid to work, our days off, our schedule, our city of choice, or what have you. If you don't know how that works, some college professor can tell you they were kidnapped, they were voice morphed, they never got on. Some people have said I'm Betty Ong. But as you can see, I'm not Betty Ong, okay? But, people on the internet will say and do just about anything. So Another thing that can happen in that workspace is that you can be receiving an FAA document. Let's say, I'll give you an example of something that should have happened that didn't happen, because I flew on September 10th on an international flight from Europe into the United States. I pick up all the paperwork for the flight. The captain picks up his paperwork. And the FAA, if they wanted to tell us there were potential Middle Eastern hijackers that might be looking for trouble, we were not told. And I can tell you that because I was the purser, I would have had the paper. If I didn't have the paper from the FAA, the captain would have had the paper, and he would have been notified, and he would have told me. And then I would have told the rest of my crew. You see how that works? Nothing happened that day. Nobody was told anything. We were not on high alert. Don't let them fool you. Nobody was told, be on the lookout, all that. I just want you to know the truth, because what happened to me when I saw this, I think it was a college professor, to tell you the truth, talking about flight attendants being kidnapped on their way to work, on the way to the plane, and their voices morphed, and then what? Well, we don't know what. I just wrote off, I don't care what this person figured out. Of course, that was way early on in my looking into 9/11. A lot of people had looked into 9/11, but there were a lot of crazy people out there, and I think some of those people were paid to look crazy, quite frankly, because they really did. And once I saw that person suggest that the flight attendants were kidnapped on the way to the plane, I just I don't care what you say, I can't trust anything you say because you don't know what you're talking about. Just so you know, I just want you guys to know the truth, and I hope that makes sense to you, because it's so, unless you're in that world, it's a mystery. There's a lot of the mystery there. You don't know about our hijack protocols, you don't know our code words, you don't know how we go to work, you don't know that we're in contact with the company for hours before our departure. You don't know that we know a month in advance what we're going to do the following month. People that care for our pets and our dogs and cats and feed our horses, and they know because we can give them our monthly schedule by the 24th of the month before. I say, here's what we're going to do in September. But I'll go more into that because there is a mystery, because all of the 4 flights involved on 9/11 did not have very many, some only 1, some 0, originally assigned crew members that would have bid in August by the 20th or thereabouts, and known that they were going to be on those 4 flights that day. And that is a mystery. Another mystery is the people that actually were assigned to be on them have been mighty silent for a long time. So anyway, we'll go into that in another video. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you can understand that some people said some pretty crazy things. They're kind of like the mainstream media. If they didn't know what it was, they just made it up.